this is what I'm going to show you how to make in this video. Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you guys something that's been requested a lot, which is how to really go from scratch. We got a blank Ableton and make every one of the hard techno drums from scratch. This is the definitive guide, everything you will need to get started right away. To go along with this video, I just dropped a new sample pack called the Ultimate Hard Techno Drum Library. The link is right at the top of the description. As the title says, this is the ultimate library of drums for hard techno. You can see you got everything you need, claps and snares, drum loops as project files, as well as individual loops and layers of each one, some effects and fills, some hi-hats, some kick loops, and individual kicks, percussion, plus rave loops. Everything you need, including some bonus synth loops. The link is at the top of the description. This is the definitive sample pack for this style. You know, all the new producers are going to need this to get into this. I know what's going on here. I've studied these tracks so much, and I wanted to create just an ultimate library for you guys. I'll play you some of these now and show you what you're working with. So you can hear it's literally everything, all the drums that you're going to need to make your best ever hard techno that you've ever made. Links at the top of the description. Once again, guys, this really helps support me, but it's really for you guys. I want you guys to have the ultimate library to make the best tracks in the style you've ever made. Definitely don't miss out, guys. It's a really great value, especially for what you're getting. And yeah, thank you so much for the support, everybody. Let's dive into the video. Alright, so we got a blank Ableton file. Let's go up to 142 BPM. And I always start with the kick. No matter what you're doing when it comes to techno, it's always the kick and then the bass. So let's find a good kick here. You know, you have to start with a good sample. It's not enough to know all the processing. You can only process something good if you want to make something good. And usually what I'll do to really make the kick from scratch is get a few of them. Like, we'll take this one and we'll do just the lows, like that, and then we'll take another one and do just the mids and the highs. And we'll make sure those two line up. Alright, looks good. Looks good. Okay, so now that we have a kick, we can go ahead and put in some MIDI notes. And I'm not too focused on, like, you know, having a whole bunch of instrument racks and stuff like that. I'm really just trying to get the kick in here. Make that a little bit shorter on the high layer. Cool. So now we have the kick. Sounds good. Let's turn it down a little bit so that we don't clip. Okay, so like I said, the next thing after the kick is always the bass. And the way that you can actually make a great rumble bass without having to use any plugins is this. So let's delete this EQ3. I just duplicated the kick that we're using for the low end layer. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to warp it. And we're going to use this over here and stretch it. So see how we're getting that now? And if we low pass that, there you go, you have a bass wave. Usually I'll turn this down in pitch, right, so you really get like a nice low rumbly. And then all you have left to do is just add a bit of attack to it. So we'll put this in one shot mode and then turn the fade in up. And now this is going to fit really well under your kick. You can do that too, like drag the start time a little bit. And now if you put that underneath the kick, there you go. You have a really, really nice, fat, powerful rumble. And you didn't even have to use any plugins yet. Now if you wanted to kind of add to it a little bit, you can use like a bit of reverb. and an amp. And then also probably do like a little auto pan like this. Turn the phase down to 0 and set it to saw wave, inverted, quarter notes, and then now you get like that, and then we'll low pass it a little. The other thing the amp does is it helps because it turns it to mono. Alright, there we go. So now we have our kick, so that's what I always start with. The last thing I'd probably do is just drop a limiter on that. Just do a little bit of that so it's really smacking. Alright, so once you have the kick, the next thing I always move up to is the hi-hat. And the hi-hat's even easier to make. What that's going to be is you're going to find 2 different layers. One, which has like a good to it. Like that has a nice like mid-range going on. I'm going to put that at that note, and we'll go ahead and put that in. And then one which has a nice like more of the high end. Like that one. And then we'll put that in. Yeah, there we go. And you can see why this works well, because one, like we don't even need a whole bunch of EQ, because one is just and one is and we'll high pass that, so it's really just the and these are all drums from the Ultimate Hard Techno Drum Library. Link in the description. And see, you get like one very powerful hi-hat. Because if you just have the tss on its own, it's too thin, but it has the highs, but it's too thin. And if you have just the ch on its own, it has the mids, but it's not got enough like sizzle. So there we go, we got that. And the next thing I would move up to from there would be like making like the big, nice, punchy, distorted hard techno clap snare. Now for this, in this library, they're kind of all mostly already set up. Let's take this one. So we're going to get a clap now. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a low pass on it. Like that. And then we're going to distort it. Something like that, maybe. Let's try pedal. Alright, and then we're going to put that in there. Okay, now let's do a 909 clap here. Alright, great. So we got that nice, punchy, hard techno snare. Again, it's not that hard. It's really just that sound design technique of cutting out some of the highs and then distorting. So you really get that nice, like... And then the last thing to add to this would be a rave loop, right? Like some nice kind of background percussion like this. Now, I'm going to drop this one in, but then I'm going to show you how I would make it from scratch. And maybe like one more. Now, the way that you actually make these from scratch is it's basically combinations of different loops chopped up and processed a little bit, these rave loops. So the way I do it is usually I like to start actually with like some live percussion. Like we can get something like this. Like these, I have these live percussion loops that I've chopped up. And what we'll do is we'll get one. And then we'll take like that. We'll kind of splice these two together, right? So this is going to be the first layer, just this. And it's like a short loop repeated over and over. See, we're already starting to get that like techie feel. Let's pitch it up. And then we're going to process it. Let's distort it a bit. Maybe a little bit of echo on it. A little filtering into the distortion. Okay, so that puts us here. So you got that. That sounds really nice. And then what you really need to fill it out is you need another one kind of working against it. So now what we'll do is we're going to have one which isn't as frequent. Like we'll get another one of these live percussion loops. And again, this is what I'm saying. It's like these rave loops. Let's try that. These rave loops aren't like something where you're going to take a bunch of one-shots and build it up. I have used one-shots to make these before, but it's really going to be like this, like kind of taking loops that are meant to be other things and then turning them into this. These are sounds. That's why when you hear it, you're like, oh my God, like that sounds like 50 different layers of individual one-shots. It's because I don't think these are ever made from one-shots. I think this is something where it's really the result of generations of processing and like exporting something, and then it's on this song or this sample CD or this hard drive somewhere, and then someone takes it, and then it ends up getting processed more after that. And it's like, this is not just like, oh yeah, like I put together a drum rack and it sounds like the rave loops, right? But okay, so now we have this one where it kind of comes in. So there's that, what we just made, and then we add, and see what that's adding there? Now we need to process this one itself. Let's pitch it. I'm going to put an amp on it. And what I like to do with these is we'll take the auto filter, use the saw up or down. Let's try a few different ones and see what's going to sound good. And then put it on either eighth notes or quarter notes, even half notes. Pretty much just anything that's like a subdivision of like, you know, eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, 16ths. No like triplets or 3/8 or anything like that usually. But again, there's exceptions to every rule. But if you add this, it'll add some movement. Hear that? And then distort it again after that. Let's even do a little automation. Like we'll automate it on that last one to go, the rate to go up to 16th notes. I'm going to try 8th notes. Oh, and then let's also automate this to go to the saw down. Alright, there we go. So now that kind of like works with the loop a little bit. And these automations, I mean, it's very specified. It's the kind of thing you can't really pre-plan that. You know, you just kind of see what sounds good and like, oh, yeah, if this was moving to there at that point, it would make it sound better. And then you do that rather than being like, oh yeah, I know exactly what the automation is that I do exactly the same every time. It's never going to be like that. Yeah, we probably don't need as much distortion on this one. Alright, let's put some chorus on it. And a bit of delay on this one too. We'll do quarter notes. And there you go. That's how you make the rave loop from scratch. And there we are. So that is how you do it. That's how you make the full hard techno drums from scratch. Literally everything from, and not just how to do it, but the exact order to do it. I promise, if you've been getting stuck, if you've been having a hard time with like, oh, why doesn't my drums sound right? Just start over, do it in this order. All of a sudden, it's all going to come a lot faster. I promise you. So that's me for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the ultimate hard techno drum library. The link is right at the top of the description. It has everything you need. It's got 20 of these rave loops, 20 percussions, 50 kicks, 10 kick loops with all the individual layers, 25 hi-hats and cymbals, 20 effects. You get what I'm saying here. There's everything you need to make the best hard techno drums. In my opinion, for this style is better than club sounds even. You know, everybody says club sounds is so good for this style. This is like what what you wish club sounds would be. So, link is at the top of the description. Thank you so much for the support, guys. But it really isn't about supporting me at all. This is about making the best library of drums for this style on the market that you can get at an affordable, accessible price, so you can take your tracks to the next level today. This is the best thing you could do right now. If you're trying to make this style, this is the best product on the market that you can grab today. It's going to take your tracks to the next level the moment you buy it. So go ahead, grab it, do yourself a huge favor, save yourself all the time, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.